And presently, Ohio State has yet another historic recruiting advantage. We got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. I have taken a break from trashing these NFL Network and ESPNers home studios because, well, you get the idea. To talk about Ohio State getting to kind of sort of claim the number 1, number 2, and number 3 picks in this year's NFL draft. Now, if you want to slice it up about Joe Burrow and say he didn't really play at Ohio State, not even as the starter at least, and he made his bones at LSU in 1 year, cool, we'll allow it. He played high school football in the state of Ohio. He played at Athens. They renamed the stadium for him after what he did last year, leading LSU to a national championship and winning the Heisman Trophy. And we all know that he was supposed to be the next Alex Smith underneath Urban Meyer at Ohio State. And Tom Herman will never get proper credit for taking his iPhone out, putting it on Joe Burrow, FaceTiming the kid throwing passes to Urban Meyer, and saying, I have found your next Alex Smith. All he did with Alex Smith was go win some games at Utah. And Alex Smith was actually a really good quarterback right up until busted his leg and then set the table for Patrick Mahomes. Then behind him, the Redskins apparently were fielding offers from a number of suitors. Joe Klatt reported that the Falcons were really trying to get up there to take him at 2. And they said, no, we love the player that's going to be available for us, the Predator, Chase Young. There are 2 Ohio State defenders with double-digit sacks in the season. One of them is Chase Young. One of them is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, of course, won Super Bowls with the New England Patriots and had his Tennessee Titans a game away from playing in the Super Bowl as a head coach. We also know that all Ohio State has been doing is turning out defensive linemen, particularly edge guys that can just get after it. Nick Bosa is the reigning defensive rookie of the year, and he just got done playing in the Super Bowl. His brother Joey out there at Los Angeles playing for the Chargers. And then behind Chase Young, Jeff Okudah, Paycom Jim Thorpe Award finalist. Jeff Okudah gets taken number 3 by the Detroit Lions. He's going to slot into that same cornerback spot Darius Slay left open when he signed a good contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. This is also just more of the rich getting richer, because going into this NFL draft, the day before, Ohio State had picked up its first 2022 commit, a defensive back out of New Orleans, Louisiana, named Jair Brown. Now, Jair is an outstanding cornerback that can play press man, uses his leverage as well, and can run your match and zone principles if you want him to. Now, that said, the reason that it's a big deal is Ohio State goes down into Louisiana and gets a win for the first time in about 15 years. Now, there's folks that really want to say that it ain't a win until you sign him. Look, anytime you get a commitment, we're going to call it a win. And if LSU was able to get a commit in Washington for the first time in 15 years, we'd say the same thing, right? We're going to go with the facts on the ground. The facts on the ground right now are Jair Brown is headed to Ohio State, all things stay as they are. Add to that, the 21 cycle has been particularly rich and promising for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They have the number 1 recruiting class in the 2021 rankings. They're sitting at a 294 points, I think it's 6-7 for points total with 17 commits in the boat. Now, any other year, they're finishing in the top 5 with just those 17 commits. This year, they have a chance to go after the 2010 Florida Gators for the highest ranked recruiting class of all time. That's bonkers. And that class that finished with a score of 324.62 had 28 commits in it. Now, Ohio State probably ain't going to go past 25, right? At this point, they don't really have to go to past 25. But then earlier today, they got even more good news with Emeka Egbuka getting another crystal ball saying that he's headed to Ohio State. That is the number 1 wide receiver in the 2021 class. They could also get JT Tuimoloau coming out of the Washington area to add to this prodigious defensive line class already that includes Tumise Adeleye and Jack Sawyer, among others. They also get to add guys like Ja'Kalen Johnson, Travion Henderson, Evan Pryor, Kyle McCord, Donovan Jackson. It's really an awesome class. And now Ohio State staff gets to say, look at the NFL draft. All three of those guys that went 1, 2, and 3 played most of their football at The Ohio State University. I don't know that you could have a better pitch coming out of the NFL draft unless you had all 22 of your starters from last year just drafted, right, in that first round. Unless you went 1 through 22. Going 1 through 3 is ridiculous, right? Also, add to that, just want to go 2 through 3. Going 2 and 3 from the same school almost never happens. And when it does, it's usually quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback, running back, quarterback, defensive back. Usually one of those two things. It is almost never two guys from the same defensive side of the football or same side of the football, right? When we're talking about defense, particularly guys that are edge and corner. I mean, the idea of Jeff Okudah is that, yeah, you can play him in the field, you can play him boundary, you could probably play him in the slot. Many folks thought he graded out as the best cornerback available last year. I obviously was not one of them. I cast my Paycom Jim Thorpe Award vote for J.R. Reed out of Georgia. I know a lot more folks that cast their vote for Grant Delpit, and that's why he's the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award winner from last year. That said, Jeff Okudah didn't get that many targets and didn't have that many interceptions, but he did show out against Clemson, and I think that did a lot for his stock going into this NFL draft because you got to see what he's like against guys like T. Higgins and opposite other guys like A.J. Terrell, who many expected to be a first-round draft pick. This is a great win for Ohio State and yet another advantage that they possess in recruiting. Ryan Day gets to get on the horn tomorrow with whatever recruit wants to talk with him and say, hey, what's up? You seen that draft last night? You seen all these dudes on the Zoomers talking about our kids? That's right. You want to be next? I'm telling you, the gap is opening. And the way that Alabama and Clemson have been able to destroy folks could be Georgia and Ohio State the next couple of years because Ohio State and Georgia are continuing to recruit at a very high level. Georgia won the 2020 recruiting national championship and won the 2 of the last 3, the other going to Bama. If Ohio State can get this one after a top 5 class last year, and then they're going to play really well in 2020 just by taking a look at the depth chart, knowing that you get a Justin Fields back. Their only weakness they already took care of, running back. Master T goes down with Achilles injury. You don't know what you're going to get out of Marcus Crowley. You don't know what you're going to get out of your true freshman because they can't even get on campus. You go get Trey Sermon out of the transfer portal. You go get 1B tailback at the University of Oklahoma who's had over 2,400 yards from scrimmage in 3 years. And for many folks was the better and more talented tailback at Oklahoma. Just going to be good. You lose Jalen Gill into the transfer portal, doesn't matter because Julian Fleming's on his way in. You already have Garrett Wilson who you can move to the slot. You could be getting another year of eligibility out of CJ Saunders. They're going to be good. They're going to be fine. And then you're going, wait, didn't they just lose Chase Young? You need number 2 overall pick? Yeah, Zach Harrison is still there though. Zach Harrison is ready to go. Nicknamed Sax Harrison. On the other side, Jonathan Cooper, he's ready to go. You were like, hey, you lost Jeff Okudah, Sean Wade. Oh, no. Hey, guess who's coming back? Guess who's going to be playing at corner? You know what I mean? It's just Josh Proctor's still over there. Jordan Fuller's still over there. You have dudes that you can throw out there and just continue to roll. And Ryan Day has done an outstanding job of letting Tony Alford, Kerry Combs, Larry Johnson Sr., and of course, Al Harrington just get after it with Brian Hartline, who is in the running to be Recruiter of the Year yet again. If you're a Buckeye fan, it's a good time to be a Buckeye fan. If you are not a Buckeye fan, you got to be looking at this and feeling some kind of way about Ohio State having this 6-week stretch because as long as there's been quarantine, Ohio State just stays winning. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.